So we begin with Reunion and Turnabout. So named because, well, it's a Faye family reunion. We're gonna see some of Maya and Mia's extended family, finally. That was no accident. Oh, right into the cutscene. I was drugged with sleeping pills. I was murdered by that person. That's why I took my revenge. It's only fair, isn't it, Eni? Oh, fuck, Maya's in jail again! I finally get to see you again, and it's not your fault. You didn't do it. No, I did it. I killed that person. But that wasn't you. It doesn't matter. It might as well have been me. It might as well have been me. I can't believe something like this happened. The events of that gloomy, rainy afternoon that started this whole mess keep playing through my mind. June 16th. And when was the last case? Okay, so like this is like a month or two before the tutorial case, just for timeline reference. What depressing rain. Do you understand how depressed that makes me? Do you? I guess. But actually, more than being depressed, I'm angry. Angry at that weather girl on TV. I think our little rainy spell will take a break with a day of sun. That's what that girl said. I'd stake my life on it. Well, it is the weather. But that's why I didn't bother to bring an umbrella today. Okay, so you're a dumbass. Nerve calling herself a weather girl. She's going to hear about my $1,500 suit. Casual flex, okay. About your case. Unless you're planning on suing the weather girl? I'm sorry. I thought that before we got down to business, we could have some friendly chatter. Oh, Shiro from Voltron! He's hit the big bucks. He's buying $1,500 suits. My name is Dr. Turner Gray. I'm a surgeon. Remind me never to end up under his knife. I'm here today because of this incident. Malpractice at Gray Surgical Clinic. 14 inpatients lose their lives. Oh, you're the doctor at... It's really quite upsetting. Did you hear me? Upsetting! Yes, I heard you. I agree. It's quite upsetting, Dr. Gray. The one that screwed up was that nurse. It was her that got the medications mixed up and killed those 14 patients. And yet, now listen good, and yet, that nurse had the nerve to go and die before admitting to her wrongdoing. She didn't even offer any sort of explanation to me. And this is the kicker. She up and has herself a grand old accident and crashes her car. Smash! Crunch! Instantly transforming her car into the accordion model. Wow, you're just like bursting at the seams with empathy, aren't you, my dude? That's right. About a year ago, all the tabloid shows were talking about it. 14 victims of medical malpractice, and the nurse's mysterious fatal accident. There were rumors that Dr. Gray had actually caused that crash. And people said it was to forever hide the person responsible for the malpractice incident. Why would I... Now, I'm just going to say this once. Why on earth would I want to kill that nurse? She's the one who killed those 14 patients, not me. I think you need to take a deep breath, Doctor, and focus. More to the point, this case is over a year old. Why bring it up now? That's simple, because the situation is slipping out of my grasp. This just won't do. My clinic isn't seeing nearly as many patients nowadays. Do you understand what that means? It means they're not coming to my clinic. You don't say. If it were me, I don't think I'd want to go either. So, what would you like me to do about it? I want you to help me prove I'm innocent. You do realize I'm a lawyer, not a private investigator, right? No, this is something only you can do. Maya Fey. You know this girl, correct? Maya? Why would he know her name? I heard you were working under her for a little while. Well, yes, I mean... Hey! Wait a second here! I worked under her? Yes. Am I wrong? She told me, so I'm not quite sure if... well, we worked a few trials together, but she went back to her hometown to undergo more training. I don't care for this man. Like, he's rude, but not in a funny way like Edgeworth. Well, then again, I guess he doesn't have the benefit of Edgeworth's numerous appearances either. Oh, yes, I heard. Must be lonely for you. What? Oh, wait, I'm not! She must be an extraordinary girl to handle such rigid training. Huh? I have an acquaintance who knows a lot about these mystical sorts of things. She's the one who introduced me to Miss Fey. Is Maya really that famous? And I've already set up an appointment. For what? What else? A channeling! I'm going to have her call the spirit of that nurse that went and got herself killed. Oh. Maya. I wonder what she's up to right now.
We, the women of the Fae clan, have always been spirit mediums. It's because the power to communicate with spirits flows strongly through us.
That's what she told me. I guess she's learned to accept her responsibilities and become an adult. Nah. Not counting training, this will be her first time channeling a spirit, so she gave me one condition before accepting my request. A condition? The condition is you, Mr. Wright. She said that she wouldn't do the channeling without first seeing you again. Me? And that is why I've searched you out. You want to see her too, don't you?
Oh, that's sweet. She wants her buddy Nick.
And so, that is how I ended up visiting Maya's hometown with the doctor. Crine Village. So this is Crine Village, Maya's hometown. Why, hello there. And goodbye again, I guess. What an odd little girl.
Hey, wait up, Pearly!
Someone else is coming this way.
Nick!
Maya! How are you? It's good to see you again.
Wow! I didn't think you'd really show up!
It's not that big a deal. You made it sound like you were so far away.
Well, maybe I exaggerated. Just a little.
It was only 2 hours by train. If I had known you were this close, I'd have visited more.
No! You're not allowed! I already decided, you know. Until I become an adult, I have to work hard and be strong by myself.
Oh. Well... Anyway, congratulations. I'm glad to hear training is going well for you. Looks like you've finally become a full-fledged medium, taking on your first job.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be this soon.
But this case... Do you know the messy story behind it?
Behold the power of the Maya Intelligence Network. Let's see. 14 people died because of malpractice on Dr. Gray's part, right? And to pin the blame on the nurse, he killed her in what appeared to be a car accident. And it was gory and fiery, and there was blood everywhere. It was so cool.
Huh? So what is this Maya Intelligence Network anyway?
The tabloids.
That's what I thought.
I'm just pulling your leg, Nick. What really happened is the exact opposite. I heard all about it from Dr. Gray. Oh, come on, Nick. I wouldn't take a crazed killer as a client. That's too scary, even for me.
Yeah, I guess so. So, this is your hometown, huh, Maya?
Yep. Karine Village. But I've heard people call this place Medium Valley, too. Because we're right in between Large Valley and Tiny Valley.
Interesting. So everyone that lives here is a spirit medium? It is Susie Saturday. Hi, Neil. I mean, sure, it's a Monday, but as long as you're in my stream, the vibes are like a Saturday.
Pretty much. Most of my ancestors were too, I think.
That's probably true, since the Fae ability to communicate with the dead is so strong.
Actually, only the women of this village are mediums. Talk about girl boss.
So, what do the men do?
They usually work someplace outside the village.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you about that girl I saw earlier. Do you know her?
Oh, you mean Pearly?
Pearly?
Pearl Faye. She's my cousin. Isn't she adorable? Just like yours truly.
Cousin. Oh, wait, then that means... Is she also,
Yep, she's a medium too. Pearly's a real genius when it comes to channeling.
I see. I hope I didn't scare her when I tried to talk to her earlier.
Nah, it's not you. My aunt drilled it into her head that if a suspicious-looking person tries to talk to you, run away.
Suspicious looking?
Well, you're not wearing training clothes for starters.
Of course not.
Pearly is my aunt's most valuable treasure, so she's not allowed to go outside of town. She doesn't know much about the world outside of Karine Village.
Aunt?
Pearly's mother is my aunt, duh. Come on, Nick. Well, Nick, I've got to get going. It's about time for the channeling to start.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
I'm doing the channeling in my house, so come on in, okay? After I'm done, we can grill up some juicy burgers. Because juicy burgers are what we eat here in this clearly traditional Japanese village.
Alright, good luck, Maya.
Thanks.
Well, at least she's still the same perky Maya. So, let's go to the meditation room. Eat your hamburgers, Apollo. Ah, Mr. Wright. I'm so glad you showed. Some nice weather we're having today. Aren't you happy? No, not at all. That stupid weather girl made the wrong call again. It will rain cats and dogs today, she said with a straight face. I can't believe they allow such misguided reports on the public airwaves. Looks like talking about the weather with this guy is just asking for punishment. But anyway, this is a splendid matter. No argument there. It's hard to believe that this is Maya's house, though. I was given a guide map to this building. Here, Mr. Wright, I have a copy for you, too. Guide map. A diagram of Fae Manor. What are you going to do once the nurse's spirit has been called? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to have her write a signed confession. A signed confession? Yes, a confession. Pay attention. I'll have her write this. 1 year ago, on May 2nd, 14 patients died due to my negligence. And then, on May 24th, I fell asleep at the wheel and died in a car accident due to my further negligence. I'm sorry, and I apologize for being negligent. That's what I'll have her write. With a confession, the rain falling on my soul can finally stop. Oh, I see. So, how did you hear about Maya Fey? I heard about her from an acquaintance, a girl studying the occult at the college. That girl introduced me to this village. This is the home of the Korean School of Channeling. The home, huh? And Ms. Maya is a daughter of the Master, I hear. Master? Anyway, you see that door? That's the room where people and spirits meet. Ms. Maya's aunt is in there right now. Would you care to meet her? Okay, so let's go into the channeling chamber. Wow. It's just strange atmosphere in here. These flickering lights? I guess they're candles. Good sir, who might you be? My name is Phoenix Wright. Oh, you must be that good sir. Good sir? Is she talking about me? You are a lawyer, are you not, good sir? I have heard much about you from Mystic Maya. Is that so? Mystic Maya? I am Mystic Maya's aunt, Morgan Fay. Nice to meet you. Ah, I had wanted to speak with you about a certain incident, good sir. It would seem that perhaps you asked too much of Mystic Maya in performing your duties. Most unbecoming, I'm afraid. Huh? Don't tell me you have already forgotten. But was it not for Mystic Maya and her assistance, you would surely not have won. First a girl that runs away, and now an old lady who says I stink at doing my job. When did I become the poster boy for how not to make a first impression? The past is the past, though. Let us speak of the present now. Ah, thank you. Was he ever the poster boy for making a good impression, though? I don't know. He just kind of stumbles into, like... He has a real great habit from reading people for the first time on the worst days of their lives, so I guess his impression is... I think he just kind of lucks into good first impressions, because he meets people when they're being falsely accused of murder, and he's the person defending him, so they're like, oh, yes, the guy who's gonna save my ass. And that's, like, really as far as he has to worry about making a good first impression, usually. So, why do you add Mystic to Maya's name? Isn't that a little strange? Good sir! Yes! How dare you be so rude and disrespectful towards Mystic Maya? I'm sorry? She must be addressed by her proper title, good sir. You must call her Mystic Maya. So about Mystic Maya, it is the blood. Excuse me? Blood? Mystic Maya carries the blood of the Master. In actuality, she is the only one remaining. Only one remaining? What's that supposed to mean? Mystic Maya is the last of the rightful heirs of the Korean channeling technique. Okay, then Where do you stand?
That is a little more complicated. Although a woman of the Fae clan, I am merely a member of the Branch family.
Branch family? What's that?
It is as it sounds. For a member of the Branch family, no matter her spiritual power, she can never become the master of the Karine school.
So, how strong are you?
It is a shame, however, I will admit. I cannot even begin to compare the lowliness of my power to the Master's.
So, that's how it is. So, today's channeling will be her first?
Yes, good sir. Because the spirit of a person who dies in a traffic accident is usually very strong, it is usually easier to call that person to our world.
Traffic accident, indeed.
The channeling will take place here, in this channeling chamber, good sir. As you can see, I am in the process of preparing.
So, this room is the channeling chamber?
The place where Speedium...
Speedium! Oh shit, I did not mean to make a contraction out of that word.
The place where a spirit medium speaks with those who have departed.
This is also supposed to be California. I don't suppose you'd mind if we observed the session.
Do not even think of such nonsense! Only the medium and the client may enter here.
Oh.
The secrets of the Karine techniques cannot be seen by just anybody.
That never stopped Maya from doing it in front of me before. Or, you know, an entire courtroom.
It is also for your safety, good sir, if something were to go wrong. That is why, while channeling is being performed, that heavy door is securely locked.
Oh, that's what that lock is for.
Oh, yes. I wonder if you have yet to meet Pearl, good sir.
Pearl?
She is an adorable, angelic young girl. With a 5-mile-wide forehead.
Oh, that odd...
She's my daughter. Now then, what was it you were about to say?
What a cute daughter you have!
A pure heart that knows not of the evils in this world is a powerful thing, good sir. Please refrain from affiliating with her, I request.
Well, it's not like I had the chance to, anyway.
I must insist and stress that you not let it occur.
Okay. I get it. She just said stay the fuck away from my kids. Okay, so now let's go to the one place we haven't seen yet. Winding Way. Wow. This garden is really breathtaking. Someone put a lot of love into it. Oh, what is that over there? Is that an incinerator? It looks a little out of place in a garden like this. It's a small incinerator. I don't think garbage trucks come all the way out here to tiny villages like this. So every family has to burn their own trash. Interesting. And you know what? That also looks very interesting. It's a really old urn. The ashes of a dead person, or the ashes of a person long dead, are inside. Looks like something with a long history. Other than that, it's not very interesting, so time to move on. So, ooh, side room. So this is the side room. Looks like it's more of a break room. There's bedding spread on the floor. Looks like someone's sleeping in one. I shouldn't disturb them.
Hey, you! Hold on now, this gal's got a few questions to ask.
Huh. I'm sure I've heard that southern accent somewhere before.
Ah, well I'll be. It's Mr. Phoenix Wright. How you been? Haven't seen you in, what, a year?
You are, lot of hair? A lot of heart. Who are you again? Lot of hair? Lot of hair, was it?
Lot of who? Wait, you best not be making fun of my hair now.
No, I wasn't making fun. I was complimenting you on your fine hair.
I dare say you're one heartless man, Mr. Wright. It was cause my testimony that your friend got out of being guilty. But looks like you already forgot that.
Hold up. You were working with the prosecution at first as one of their witnesses, and came after us as if we were a piece of sirloin steak.
Minor detail. Stop being so uptight. Letting little things get in the way. My name's Hart. Lot of heart. Don't you go forgetting it.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Now listen here. I'm here to take some good pictures today. I'm gonna get myself a real scoop.
Ah, so I guess you're still at it? Being a photographer, I mean.
You betcha. The hardest working one out there, I reckon. Didn't I say I was gonna make a name for myself as a famous paranormal photographer? Oh, that's right. This ain't no time to be wasting time. Channeling's about to get started.
Is it that time already?
We all should hurry up and get to the meditation room. What are you waiting around for? Come on!
A lot of heart, huh? I've been judging her harshly because of that case. But I guess looking back, we had some good times too. Like when Maya sneezed and set off her camera.
We will now begin the channeling. Mystic Maya and honored guest, please proceed into the channeling chamber.
With this, I can finally swat all those pesky flies, once and for all. You hear me? They won't be able to say a single bad thing about me after this. You would love to hear them apologize, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, Mr. Wright? Me? Oh, yeah, sure I would.
Mystic Maya, do you have the channeling chamber key? Yep, right here. That is most satisfactory. That key is one of a kind, so please take care of it well. It'll be fine, Aunt Morgan. I won't lose it, trust me. Okay, Dr. Gray, let's get started.
Finally, let's go.
Now, let us wait patiently out here for them. Please, have some lovely bitter green tea and... jaw-droppingly large strawberry desserts. Hold on now, Granny. Granny? How come we ain't allowed in that room? Dear madam, you must have an impressive grasp... You have an impressive grasp of English. From where did you learn it? What? I'm from the heart of the heartland. Is that so? Then I humbly request that you return to this heart of the heartland. What are you? This is Corrine Village. If you cannot follow our traditions and rules, we request that you leave. Sorry.
Wow, she shut a lot up. Now that's impressive.
Now then, let us wait.
Just sipping. Oh shit!
Hey now! What was that just now?
It came from inside the channeling chamber.
Hey! That's a gunshot! Excuse me? I've heard that sound before. It's a gunshot. I'd bet my afro on it.
Maya! Maya's in there!
Well, Mr. Lawyer, what's the plan?
What else? We're going to break in.
What? But there's only one key, and that kid's got it.
We're going to have to break down the door. Is that alright, Miss Faye?
Well, yes, but there is one matter. That is...
Don't try to stop me. You can send the repair bill to the Wright & Co. law offices later.
Yeah! Now that's what I call being a man.
Yes, Lotta Hart is here now. And so is a crime scene. Just Dr. Gray!
I was murdered.
Maya?
That man murdered me. So I killed him.
What? Lotta, at a time like this?
Times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. But anyway, what's going on here? This gal, is she... Maya? Step away from there. Please leave this area to me. Go quickly and inform the police.
But...
Hurry, before there are more victims here. Hey, let's go, city boy. Leave this to the granny.
My cell phone doesn't get reception way out here, so I ended up using the phone booth to call the police.
And?
They're on their way.
That's good. Lord, I saw a genuine mysterious phenomenon.
She seems really on edge because of all this. Not that I blame her. I'm scared to death by what's going on.
Hey, mister. That gal, Maya. She wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, was she?
Oh, yeah. Lotta doesn't know that when Maya's channeling, her whole physical appearance changes!
And then again, weren't there only the two of them in there? I reckon she must have done it then.
Lotta, what do you know about Dr. Gray?
Not much, but I did some digging. That's one gent with a bad reputation.
Really?
I hear he's good at surgery and stuff, but his personality stinks like wet sheep.
I sort of got the same impression myself.
He's real controlling. As soon as his nurse or patients don't do what he says, he starts a-hollering. Must have been real rough to work for him.
Okay, so he sucks. Let's go back to the meditation room and tell Morgan I called the police.
Ah, Mr. Wright.
Miss Faye, how's, Mystic Maya?
She has returned to this world. The spirit severing technique was successful.
Let me see her, please!
She is still unconscious. I humbly request that you wait outside for her recovery.
Guess I just have to wait. The police are here! Sorry to keep you waiting. Huh? You again? What are you doing all the way out here, Detective Gumshoe? It's actually kind of funny. I was in the area for a business trip, pal. Okay, that's exactly what it looks like, though. It does look like she's drinking wax, just because of the way, like, the mug is painted.
Hey, Pup Lion, good to see y'all.
Well, time to check out the crime scene. I'll have to question everyone here later on. So just sit tight, alright? Why is he grinning at me? 'Cause he's happy to see you again, dummy. Shall I show you to the scene of the crime, Detective Gumshoe? Detective Jimshoe. My name isn't Jimshoe. The two of them went into the channeling chamber. I guess all I can do for now is see what everyone else has to say. Okay... James Shoe. She's probably scared of her wits after having a murder take place right by her. Lotta? Gotta let me be next! Don't scare me like that.
What do you mean? You're the one scaring me. If I weren't so tough, you'd have another dead body on your hands. Mine.
Did you see or notice anything that stuck out to you?
Nah. Well, maybe one thing.
What is it?
Turns out my poor stomach's not good at handling this kind of thing.
What?
Curses and ghosts and stuff coming back to get you. This is just too much, I say.
What is too much?
Being an occult photographer. That's some scary stuff, so I think I'm gonna try being a celebrity photographer now.
Going after photos more within your reach from now on? More glamour, less gore? What's up?
Oh, yeah!
What is it?
I took some hot pictures earlier.
Huh? Hot pics? In my area?
Remember? I took some pictures of the murder scene inside.
Ah! She did! 2 even.
The seance murder. I sure like the ring of that. It'll be a sensational story.
Lotta.
Sorry, but my journalistic sense is burning inside me. Hate to cut and run, but I'm heading back in. Gotta beat those cops to the scoop of the century.
I don't know who's scarier, Lotta or the spirits. And why does it feel like we've been through this before? Oh, no one's in the winding way. Okay, let's check out the crime scene then. The police are busily running here and there. I don't see Maya anywhere. Hey, you! Don't touch anything! Look, I really need to ask you some questions. Don't look at me like I'm some sort of uncaring jerk. Tell you what, pal. I'll let you ask me a few questions, alright? Aw, thanks, Gummy. About Maya. I hate to break this to you, pal, but with the way things look now, that girl's the only one who could have done it. Yeah. Only Maya and the victim were inside this room, after all. But Maya is... You can ask more about it later, pal. Right now, I've got a job to do, and that's collecting evidence. Detective Gumshoe looks like a real professional. And yet, something about his expression still looks the same. I love his big old coat. So, Dr. Gray was shot with a gun, huh? He was shot in the forehead, execution style. Bam. But he was also stabbed in the chest with a knife. A knife? It looks like it was made to drape on someone for comfort. Precisely. Basically, the Vic was first stabbed, then he was shot. That is interesting. Stabbed and shot. That sounds like someone had a real grudge against him. I'm pretty sure there was someone sleeping here earlier.
Like How can I help you?
That is, I...
Like, so isn't it about time to start?
Huh? Time to start what?
You know, like, the channeling.
Channeling? Oh! No, actually, the situation has kind of changed.
Uh-huh? Like, what do you mean?
Please stay calm, but there's been a murder.
So, like, a murder is that thing where, like, one person kills another, right?
Yes! A person has killed another person.
Oh, that's... what are the words I'm looking for? It's like, totally a bummer.
Yeah. After all that effort, that's all she had to say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to, like, introduce myself. My name is Eenie Miney. At the college, I'm researching and studying parapsychology.
Parapsychology?
That's right. I think people, like, usually call it occult studies or something. Like supernatural phenomena and ESP and psychic powers. That sort of stuff.
That's pretty out there. I'm Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. Oh my god, look at her little dance! So, what brings you here today?
So, I was the one who told Dr. Gray about this place. He asked me, like, do you know of a good spirit medium?
Huh. Dr. Gray did say something about being introduced to this place.
'Cause, like, talking to dead people and, like, multiple personalities are my thing.
I see. Then why were you taking a nap here?
Like, I wasn't feeling good.
Huh?
I am, like, allergic to sesame seeds. They, like, must have put some in the food they served for lunch.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun.
So I, like, felt sick and came in here to, like, sleep. I totally feel like I've wasted my time, 'cause I, like, slept for a long time.
So, you were sleeping here the entire time?
Yeah, ever since lunch.
So you don't know anything about the murder that took place?
Like, what? Oh, that! I, like, totally know nothing. So, who was, like, you know, killed?
The surgeon that requested the channeling, Dr. Gray. You and Dr. Gray knew each other, right?
I don't know any Dr. Gray.
Oh, really? Then what was all that talk about him earlier?
Huh? Like, a long, long time ago, I was, like, a patient. Yeah.
She sounds like she's trying to hide something. And not doing a very good job of it. Hey, maybe, but I don't have any evidence I can show you to make you talk or anything. There's no one here, as usual. Ah! Hey! How are you? You're Pearl, right? Silent as ever. Huh? What's that she's got in her hand? I've seen it somewhere before.
Ah! No, she ran away again.
What is it? Is it my hair? Is it too spiky? Not spiky enough?
Oh, dear madam, you have such impeccable timing. Like, what's all the buzz?
Alright, everyone, listen up. You too, pal. I'm going to give you all a brief update. Right now, it looks like the investigation's not going to be done until real late.
That is a terrible shame. I propose that everyone sleep here under the roof of the Fey Manor tonight.
I'm trying to, like, slurp my drink in time with her just to add a little bit of color here, but I don't know how well it's gonna work. What a mess. I can't believe how crazy this day turned out. Maya was arrested and taken away by the police. It reminds me of the day we met. I don't see myself getting any sleep tonight. June 20th, 8:02 a.m. Okay, the next morning. Morning. Did he- wait, this is like his thinking to himself text, so like, did he just yawn in his head? I guess I must have nodded off at some point. I hope Maya's okay. I should hurry and get to the detention center ASAP. I love when I try and fake yawn and then accidentally make myself yawn.
Nick!
Maya?
What am I going to do? I never imagined it would turn out like this.
Calm down, Maya. Take deep breaths. Come to think of it, the first time I met her, it all started right here, in this detention center.
I finally get to see you again, and...
It's not your fault. You didn't do it.
No, I did it. I killed that person.
But that wasn't you.
It doesn't matter. It might as well have been me. I was too weak, and I couldn't control the spirit's power, so...
I don't want to bring up the case quite yet, but...
You don't have to be nice to me. I understand.
So, you're the master or something of the Korean School of Channeling?
Actually, my mother is for now. But since that title is passed from mother to daughter, I guess I will be someday.
But many people think that channeling isn't real, that it's all just an act.
You believe in us, don't you?
Yeah, because I've seen it with my own eyes. Maya's channeling a spirit. Not only her voice, but her whole physical appearance changes. It's a supernatural phenomenon that occurs every time. It happened this time, too. Dr. Gray said he wanted to call the nurse, so... Maya's body must have taken on that nurse's appearance. What exactly happened in the channeling chamber?
I went into that room with Dr. Gray, locked the door, and sat down across from him.
Okay.
We closed our eyes, and I began the channeling.
This is sounding kind of creepy. Like the beginning of a scary story. And this creepy MIDI music isn't helping either.
And that's the last thing I remember.
What?
After a spirit comes into my body, I lose myself, my consciousness.
Then you don't remember a single thing?
When I came to, I was being held in my aunt's arms. And there was blood all over my clothes. Oh, but I do remember having a dream.
A dream? What kind of dream did you have while you were channeling?
I can't remember it all that well, but I was dead and buried in the ground. I couldn't move, and it was unbearable, really suffocating. It went something like that.
I see. I have no idea what to say to that.
There was a really familiar smell, too.
Under the ground?
Yeah, I can't quite place it, but I know I've smelled that same scent before.
I guess this is about all the information I'm going to gather for today. I'll be back later, Maya. In the meantime, please make sure you prepare it, okay?
Huh? It? What is it?
The document requesting me to be your attorney, of course.
But...
What's wrong?
Are you sure? I mean, I'm guilty. I'm a murderer.
No one's decided that yet.
But I did. I killed that person with these 2 hands.
That's enough, Maya.
It's hopeless. If you defend me, you'll lose, I'm sure.
Stop it!
Help me. Nick, help me. I'm scared.
Don't worry, I will. When is the trial?
It sounds like tomorrow.
As usual, 0 prep time. Alright, I'm going now.
Wait!
Huh?
This jewel. This is called a Magatama. It's a magical charm, and it's always protected me. Give this to Pearly, and I'm sure she'll lend you her spiritual powers.
Magatama received from Maya. Yes! Okay, new gameplay mechanic unlocked. Maya's Magatama. Slightly translucent. It's small, but it has a deep, profound aura about it. Alright, so Nikki, I see you just got here, so to catch you up, we went to go visit Maya because she was doing a spirit channeling for a guy who wanted to prove that his nurse was responsible for some malpractice that killed 15 patients, and not himself, because his clinic was doing bad. So Maya was going to channel the spirit of this dead nurse who died in a car crash, so that the doctor could make her sign a confession that she was the one whose negligence killed these people. But then while Maya was channeling the spirit, we heard gunshots, and then Dr. Gray was dead. So now Maya's on the hook for murder, and we gotta go back to her hometown and question her aunt and her cousin and some other people about it. Yeah, well, and we also met a really cute little red-haired girl with a fun little beret, and her name's Eenie Miney, and I love her. Whew. Feels like I've been gone forever. But it's only been 1 day. Oh, that's right! Where's that newspaper Dr. Gray brought the other day? Ah, here it is. Right on top of my desk. This is the only thing he left behind that's going to be of any help. Okay, newspaper clipping number 1. 1 year ago, on May 2nd, 14 patients died from malpractice at Gray Surgical Clinic. Alright, yeah, let me just check out the court record real quick. Okay, so we have Maya, we have Dr. Turner Gray, who is, or was originally, like, our client, but is now the victim? Had a malpractice incident and murdered during a channeling. We have Pearl Faye, age 8, a little girl who's Maya's cousin, who we haven't gotten a chance to talk to real well yet. Morgan Faye, age unknown, Maya's aunt. She's Pearl's mom and a member of the Faye clan branch family. Lotta Hart was also at the scene of the crime, so she took some photos that we're gonna have to get from her later. Dick Gumshoe, as always, our investigating detective. An eeny-miny college student, a huge fan of the occult, and is doing research in parapsychology. Yeah, that's our whole cast so far. Her big hair full of secrets. Oh wait, what did auto mod? I know it was a typo. I have to save Maya, no matter what. It's her life on the line. What in the world happened in that room yesterday? Alright, so... to this room. The meditation room nurtures all mediums, young and old. Even mediums in training, I'd wager. But it's pretty deserted today. Probably because of the murder yesterday. No shit, Phoenix. Looks like Detective Gumshoe isn't here today. I should take this chance and thoroughly check this room. I should get my fingerprints all up on this crime scene. If I'm lucky, I might uncover a clue or two. Oh, Mr. Wright. Good morning. I am on my way to go meet Mystic Maya. And I thought to bring her some items to make her feel more at home. Namely, tea so bitter you lose your tongue, and jaw-droppingly large strawberry desserts. Okay, I want a jaw-droppingly large strawberry dessert, please. I'm sure Maya will be very grateful. That's Mystic Maya, good sir. She is one scary lady. Oh, dear sweet Mystic Maya. Pearl wept constantly for you last night. As did I. I know it's important for me to search the site, but I should ask her some questions too while I have the chance. Okay, I don't know how much longer I can, like, keep up the slurping, because, like, one, I'm sure it probably sounds gross, and two, that's just gonna make me have to pee so much! I would like to ask you a few questions about what happened yesterday. Do you mean that awful tragedy? That man murdered me, so I killed him. Maya? Step away from there! Please leave this area to me. Go quickly and inform the police. What happened here in this room after I left? Well, first I struck Mystic Maya on the head. To make her go unconscious, correct? No, I just really felt like doing it. That is correct. Next, I performed the spirit severing technique. Spirit severing technique? The spirit of that nurse was inside of Mystic Maya's body. I used the technique to send the nurse's spirit back to the other world. I wonder if this kind of testimony is even admissible in a court of law. By the way, what is this room exactly? The channeling chamber. This room was created for the sole purpose of preventing such a tragedy as yesterday. What do you mean?
Sometimes, when an inexperienced medium calls an especially strong spirit, that spirit may become violent and revolt, as you witnessed yesterday.
Revolt? But how?
When a spirit enters a medium's body, she loses her will and herself steps aside. To put it another way, the spirit is borrowing the medium's body, good sir.
But isn't that extremely dangerous?
An experienced medium has little problem controlling a spirit.
But Mystic Maya, that was her first channeling.
And that is why I insisted on locking the door. However, I never thought that would be calling danger upon the client himself. I am grateful that one of our heirlooms was not damaged in this horrible incident.
And that would be...
that folding screen there. It is the Quran sacred writings. Along with the Quran sacred urn, they are this village's most treasured possessions. If I ever found out that something had happened to either one, oh, the humanity.
Not for her to be worrying about the folding screen at a time like this. I guess this isn't just some dilapidated old screen after all. So, how is Pearl today?
Mr. Wright?
Yes?
In this world, Pearl is my most treasured possession. When compared to even Mystic Maya, Pearl has the spiritual power to become a master.
That's very impressive.
Until now, the women of the Branch family have thought themselves to be inferior. But Pearl is different. Her spiritual strength is so great, it's even greater than than some of the main family. Yes, Pearl is a channeling prodigy, and is the pride of the Branch family.
Wow, she's really fired up now.
In any case, our world is so different from yours. Perhaps it is best for you to quit, good sir.
Quit? Quit what? Why do you want me to step off? It's a beautiful and expensive folding screen. It also looks quite old. There seems to be some sort of sacred text written on it, but I can't read it. This is... It's a hole! Could this have been made by another bullet? Folding screen. About 8 inches off the ground is a small hole that looks like a bullet hole.
Well then, I do believe it is time for me to take my leave.
Alright. Please tell Maya I said hi.
What was that?
Mystic Maya.
I will tell her. Slurp.
Little Pearl isn't here today. Maybe she's at school?
Oh, hey! Like, you're that guy from yesterday! The, dentist guy.
No, I'm a lawyer.
That's right! Mr. Smith, Esquire.
That's right. I mean, you're wrong. My name is Wright.
Smith, Wright. Well, I got like 3 letters at least.
I don't think she gets the point. Anyway, why are you here?
So, like, I studied this thing called parapsychology at this college, and,
you told me about that yesterday. The sesame allergy, too. What I'd really like to know is why you're still here today.
Oh, so, like, that's what you meant. Like, you should have been more, like, clear about it.
Sorry. My bad.
No, it's okay. Like, it's really... Huh?
That's it? Why'd you stop mid-sentence?
Did I? So, like, what was I talking about again?
If Lotta ever wanted another genuine mysterious phenomenon, it's right here. Okay, this is all the stuff I talked about to her yesterday. Huh. Now, where did this box come from? I'm sure this wasn't here last night. It looks like a box for storing clothes. It's pretty big for just clothes. It's mostly empty, but a few folded pieces of channeling costumes sit at the bottom. The meditation room is on the other side of this very heavy-looking door. The lock on it is broken because, well, I broke it. It doesn't seem possible, but I managed to break it pretty badly. When we want to do something bad enough, people can do the most amazing things. This is where the medium sits, I assume. There are 4 panels of this flooring. The straw on the floor feels a little damp, probably from the humidity in the air. No matter what I do, my eyes keep getting drawn to the pool of blood in the center here. I guess this is an altar, or whatever it is. It feels very important. A mirror-like object with a cloudy reflective surface, and some branches of a sacred tree have been set in a predetermined arrangement. I guess they're used during the channeling. This is where the medium sits, okay. Yeah, got that. There's some empty space behind the folding screen. The light of the candles can't reach back there, so it's completely dark. I hope no one is hiding back there. Okay, I guess I have to talk to Edie anyway, even if she's not going to say anything new. So, why are you still here today?
Like, there's so much for me to, like, study here.
Like, what?
Like, the medium's training? Or, like, how they inherit their spiritual power?
I suppose this village is the real thing, after all.
So, like, I asked if I could stay here for, like, a little longer.
She sure seems like the carefree type, at least, on the surface. Have you heard about the murder?
It's, like, totally scary.
She says, with a silly smile plastered on her face. So, do you know anything about it that might help? Somehow, I don't think she has a grip on reality, let alone what's going on here. About the victim, Dr. Gray.
I don't know who you're talking about. Like... Wait, I think you asked about him, like, yesterday, too.
That's right. Her reaction yesterday when I asked was... You and Dr. Gray knew each other, right?
I I don't know any Dr. Gray.
Oh, really? Then what was all that talk about him earlier?
Huh? Well, like a long time ago, I was like a patient. Yeah.
Okay, she is definitely hiding something from me.
Like, is something wrong?
There we go. Ah! You surprised me. And how are you today? I guess she isn't open to friendly chatting. Huh? She's still holding something in her hand. It looks like the same thing she had yesterday.
Ah!
Huh? If only I had something that would catch her interest. Maybe then she'd talk to me. Ah, I gotta show her the Magatama. So, let's come back here again. Hey, look at this. Oh yeah! Maya said to give this to you. Ah! I'm in trouble now. I made her cry. If Morgan sees us like this, I'll be the next one they're channeling.
That's Mystic Maya's.
Huh? She actually spoke.
Who are you?
I'm Phoenix Wright. I, worked with Maya.
You worked with Mystic Maya? You're Mr. Nick, right?
Excuse me? I bet I know who she picked Nick up from.
I know who you are. You're Mystic Maya's special someone.
What?
So then, of course, you're going to help Mystic Maya, aren't you? That's what you're going to do, right?
Well, yeah, I will.
Oh, wow. It's like a beautiful fairy tale. That earnest look shining brightly in your eyes. It must be true love.
What? Why am I being boiled into a bright red lobster by this little kid?
I'm so jealous of Mystic Maya. Oh, what a wonderful relationship.
Wait, I mean, we aren't... Things aren't like...
I can tell you're a good person. Alright, Mr. Neck. I may be small, but I'm going to help you in any way I can.
Phoenix, you're going in the soup. Alright, thank you. Little baby, you are on my team now. Pearl, are you friends with Maya?
I feel very grateful to be friends with her. She's so great. I want to be like Mystic Maya when I grow up. I really look up to her.
Wow, I had no idea Maya was so... revered.
Usually when people don't use Mystic Maya's title, I get mad.
Sorry.
But if it's you, Mr. Nick, then it's okay. Because you're special to her.
Where in the world did she get an idea like that? I think the way she got the idea is like she's never met an adult man before, so she just automatically assumed that a man and a woman together in any context means romance.
By the way, this may be rude, but Which channeling school are you from?
Which channeling school?
Yes. For example, I studied the Karine technique.
Ah, I get it. No. I'm a lawyer. A lawyer.
Lawyer?
Yup.
Is that related to spirit mediums in any way?
None that I know of. Oh, wait, are you telling me you don't know what a lawyer is? Yeah, basically the only time there's been in Karine is when someone's getting married.
I'm sorry, but I have no idea.
Maya did say Pearl doesn't know much about the outside world. So, what's that you've got there, Pearl?
Oh, this? I found it yesterday. If you want it, I can give it to you.
Alright, well, if you really want to give it to me.
You look like a child at a toy store, Mr. Nick.
She not only speaks in a refined manner, but laughs in one too. Black key added to the court record. An old steel key. The green jewel is set in the center of the key's grip.
Mr. Nick?
Yes, Pearls? I can call you that, right? You're too cute to just call you Pearl.
Sure, Mr. Nick. Are you sure it's okay for me to have this Magatama?
Yeah, it's okay. I was told to give it to you.
But I can't accept something like this. All I really should do is charge this Magatama with spiritual energy.
Spiritual energy? Just pure energy.
Please take this. I'm sure it'll be helpful.
What do you mean?
It will let you see people's secrets.
See people's secrets?
Yes. If it's alright with you, I would like to accompany you for a little while. I can explain the Magatama's power to you when we meet someone hiding a secret.
Yay! So now I can't wait to try this out. But I don't know when the first chance we get to use the Magatama is. But it's fun. It's real cool. Hey, it's you, pal! So you're going to be her lawyer, I bet. Yes. Oh, I really feel bad for you, pal. Just this once, I wish I could be on your side. Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, but I shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff to you. Hey! You're a cute kid! I'm not scary, honest. Wow, I never knew Gumshoe liked kids. He's literally the perfect man, if he weren't a cop. Hey, I know. I'll show you something cool. How's this? It's a real genuine pistol. Oh my god, Gumshoe, stop giving children guns! Stop! Detective Gumshoe, what are you doing showing her something that dangerous? Sorry. Dude, stop! What about Maya and the charges against her? I don't think you can win, pal. If you're talking about proof, we've got a few pieces. You've got proof? Yeah, pal. That puffy-haired photographer's going to testify tomorrow. You must be talking about Lotta. Actually, speaking of Lotta, I took some hot pictures earlier. Huh? Remember, I took some pictures of the murder scene inside. Lotta's hot pictures. A lot of hot pics. I wonder what our camera captured. Besides, you must have realized by now, pal. There's no way anyone other than Maya Fey could have done it. What am I supposed to say to Pearls now? About Dr. Gray. The victim wasn't super famous, but people still knew who he was. His face was all over those tabloid shows last year. He was even on Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, I know. I was looking through some newspapers from last year, and I like to pretend the pencil behind his ear is one of those cheap crayons he got from a kid menu in a restaurant. Okay, I prefer that to, like, the original, like, the actual origin of it, which was apparently, like, part of his character was originally gonna be, like, he was, like, into gambling and betting on racehorses, so that was, like, the pencil he used to mark off his ticket at the racetrack. Sorry, pal, I got it bad for the ponies. I was looking through some newspapers from last year and... Huh? I could have sworn I cut an article out, but I guess I must have lost it. He's searching through his pockets. And boy, are those big. Hey, you know what they say, pal? Big pockets for big hands. It looked really interesting, too. Hey, do you have a copy, pal? A copy of that article? I think Dr. Gray might have brought a copy to the office when he came by. Huge friggin' bazonkas! About Maya's trial tomorrow. I've got 2 pieces of news for you, pal. 2? Yeah, bad news and even worse news. So, which do you want to hear first? I don't really care. It doesn't change the fact that I'm not going to like it. Alright, pal. Well, the prosecutor for the trial is Prosecutor Von Karma. What? Von Karma? Manfred Von Karma. He was an awe-inspiring veteran prosecutor. He never lost a case in the 40 years of his career, and he raised a fearsome disciple. The horrible aftertaste of the evil he force-fed me is something I'll never forget. Wait a sec. But didn't Von Karma stand trial, and that's where the other piece of bad news comes in. The Von Karma you're facing tomorrow is actually his successor. Successor? So, who is this successor to Von Karma? Literally, pal, it's Prosecutor Von Karma's kid. That guy had sex! That guy had sex and produced a child! It was a fruitful union! His kid became a prosecutor real young, like 13, and hasn't lost a trial since. That's what they call a prodigy, pal. Huh. Kid, huh? Wait a sec! 13?! The kid became a prosecutor at the age of 13?! I mean, a prodigy like that, I would have heard something about... Oh, no. The kid was born and raised in Germany, pal. That country's got a lot of stuff, and it's a great place to develop a person's talents. Also, they let teenagers act as prosecuting attorneys for some goddamn reason. Germany, huh? That's probably why I've never heard of this person. Fantasy Germany off the shits. Ugh. Still, all it takes is someone mentioning the name Von Karma. And I get terrible flashbacks to that case. Stop it! Get a grip on yourself, Phoenix! I don't know if that matters anymore. Now that he's gone. here's that newspaper you wanted. I don't think it was the last. No, yeah, it was during no, not DL6, but that trial. He did mention having a grandchild. But as we find out, it's not Francisca's kid. So he has at least 2 biological children. Papa Von Karma's brought up and one winged angel starts playing. Dr. Gray brought this over to my office the other day and... Hey! It's that news story! The one about the malpractice suit. 14 patients died and it caused a huge stink. Yeah, but that's not all, pal. Things only got worse after that. You mean the car accident the nurse died in? Oh, here we go. I brought my own clipping with me today. Here, pal, this is for you. Alright, thanks. Who's Mal and where are they practicing? Alright. Mimi Miney, nurse at Gray Surgical Clinic, died after falling asleep at the wheel. Yeah, were you gonna have the doctor sign it? Okay, that's all I can talk to you about. Hello again. We seem to be seeing a lot of each other today.
Aw, she's like totally cute. Is she like your daughter?
What? No! How old do you think I am? I want to ask you about the victim, Dr. Gray.
I, like, totally don't know him.
Ruh-roh, Scoob. Ah! What is that?
Huh? You can see it, can't you, Mr. Nick? You can see the lock on that person's heart.
Huh? What?
This is the power of the Magatama. Only you can see these psyche locks, Mr. Nick.
Psyche locks, huh?
The more someone wants to hide their secret, the more locks you will see. If it's only one, I think you can easily unlock it.
Unlock? But how?
Please use Mystic Maya's Magatama on this person, and let's remove the lock.
I have no idea what she's talking about, but I guess I'll give it a try.
You must be careful though, Mr. Nick. If you make a mistake, it will hurt you. If you don't think you have the proof you need, you must have the courage to stop.
Well, I've got to start somewhere. Let's give this Psyche Lock thing a try. If he uses it too much, he takes psychic damage and turns into the Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix Wright turns into the Phoenix Force from haha X-Men joke. I know Nikki got me. And Bunny. So, if I want to do this, I gotta present her with the Magatama. Dark Phoenix, right? Ah, my mind! The victim. Eeny Miney, I believe you do know who Dr. Gray is.
I told you, like, how many times do I have to, like, repeat myself? If you're, like, so totally sure, then where's, like, your proof?
While it may be possible that you never actually met Dr. Gray in person, I do believe you might have at least indirectly known of him.
Like, what do you mean, like, indirectly?
I should try to show that the possibility existed for now. So, something that shows a possible connection between Amy and Dr. Gray. That would be the fact that Mimi Miney, same last name, was a nurse at his clinic and also died in a car crash. Take a look at this newspaper clipping.
Like, what is it? A story about an accident?
Please read the victim's name.
Mimi Miney.
Miney is a pretty rare last name, wouldn't you say? Ms. Mimi Miney wouldn't happen to be a relative of yours, would she?
So you noticed. She was my older sister.
I'm sorry about your loss. Your sister, was she a nurse? Perhaps at Dr. Gray's surgical clinic? Gray Surgical Clinic. I don't think I need to tell you that the clinic was run by the victim, Dr. Turner Gray. Which is how you knew of Dr. Gray. You knew him through your sister. Please, tell me all you know about Dr. Gray.
My sister's name was Mimi Miney. She was like a nurse at Dr. Gray's clinic.
That's what I thought.
I heard that, like, Dr. Gray was really tough on people. Like, a total slave driver. My sis was, like, always coming home totally wiped out because she was overworked.
Wiped out? So, is that why she fell asleep at the wheel?
That guy, like, drove my sis so hard. So, like, that's why the accident happened.
The one where 14 patients died from malpractice?
Yeah, like, I think that was the doctor's fault, too. My sis was pushed by, like, everyone's expectations and, like, her duties and stuff. And that pushed her to her death.
Oh. I'm sorry.
So, like, are we done? I've, like, already told my story to, like, everyone. Do you understand now, Mr. Nick? This is how a psyche lock works.
Well, I don't plan to pry into people's hearts unless I absolutely need to.
The lock this time was pretty easy, but you might meet people who aren't as willing to give in later on. If you don't have enough proof, be careful and know when to stop trying.
So, I think now we can go back and talk to Maya. Because we've gathered some evidence.
Mr. Nick?
What's wrong?
I have never left Carine Village.
Really? Wow, that's, pretty amazing.
You're going to meet with Mystic Maya, aren't you? Please tell her I said hi.
Hey, wait! She ran off. Again. Well, I know Enie's secret now, but I still don't have any idea how I'm going to save Maya. I don't even know if I should go in there with a smile or a straight face. But we're going in there anyway. What am I supposed to do? I'm almost out of time. Can I really do anything? Can I really save her?
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Huh? Must be Maya.
It's been a long time, hasn't it, Phoenix?
That voice. Oh shit, that's not Maya. Whoops, my bad. Mia! Even without me being here, it looks like you've learned to stand on your own. Rip sexy, indeed. Mia! She's Maya's older sister, and my mentor. She was a top-notch defense lawyer, but a certain case forced her into retirement. But whenever I'm in trouble, she comes to help, just like this. Her spirit comes back from the other world and borrows Maya's body for a bit. Phoenix, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets, and especially when it's bad. He meant like forced her into retirement, like the way JoJo uses the phrase retirement. Mia, you can't smile at the end if you haven't been smiling the whole way there. In any case, the face you're making now is no face to show a client, Phoenix. But... So, tell me all about it. I'm going to guess that my sister is in a lot of trouble again. I told her everything about what had happened in the last 2 days. Mia closed her eyes, deep in thought, while she listened. I see. Mia, what am I supposed to do? It's pretty clear what a good lawyer does in this situation. And that is? Tell me, please. Believe in your convictions, and fight for the complete acquittal of your client. You think Maya's not guilty? How can you be so sure? I know she is, and I'll give you a hint as to why. Yes? Mediums can't have dreams. They can't? From what you told me, it sounds like Maya was having a dream while channeling. Yeah, she said she dreamt that she had died and had been buried in the ground. But that is impossible. You've heard it from her, I'm sure. When a medium channels, her own spirit disappears, which means that it's impossible for her to dream during that time. Then, what does this mean? I think it's safe to bet that Maya was set up. A setup? It's up to you to blow the lid on this case tomorrow, and show how she was set up. How am I supposed to prove her innocence when I have nothing to go on? If you're looking for a clue, it's already in your hands. It is? Just as it sounds, Phoenix. You already hold the key. Really? Come on. Show me the key to this case. The key, huh? Alright, I'll show it to her. The key I hold. Is it the literal key? Mia, have you seen this key before? Ah, the key. It's literally the key to understanding everything that's happened in this case. This key? Phoenix, listen. Right now, that key is sitting in your hand. However, it shouldn't be. It contradicts the facts. What does she mean? I'm certain this key will be the piece of evidence that makes your case tomorrow. You already know everything you need to know. You know what the key to this case is. That is enough. But... How could I win tomorrow without knowing who the real murderer is? Who could have... I didn't know it at the time. But this day was going to end with a turn for the surprising. Oh shit! How do you have psyche locks from beyond the grave? Mia? What? What's wrong? That's right. Only I can see the psyche locks. Which means Mia must know something about the real murderer. But for this to be something that she would hide under lock and key from even me. What in the world is going on? Alright, and thus closes the curtains on our first investigation portion. So I'm going to take an intermission, and then we'll come back for the 2 trial portions, and that'll be the end of the stream. So, real quick, everybody take a break to go stretch and pee and drink water and whatnot. I will be right back. Alright, and we're back. Time to go into the trial and meet the legendary child of Von Karma. Alright, lesbians, hold on to your hats.
What? Prosecutor Von Karma? You mean...
No. I heard it's his successor this time.
Successor?
Oh shit, the pyramid became my bad. Okay, whoops. Okay. Now we're good. Knew I forgot something. How embarrassing. Thanks, Winston.
Manfred von Karma was a really sinister man. One might even call him Mr. Sinister. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks. Also, he could win.
He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sorts of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now his successor. I wonder what kind of person they will turn out to be.
It's no good. Mystic Maya! Pearly! You showed up! Thanks for coming all this way. I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. Huh? Then, you came all by yourself? Yup! I snuck out of the manor and followed a map.
Don't tell me you walked all the way here.
Of course not. I ran. Oh my god, you're 8 years old! You're 8 years old and you ran! Whatever distance is it is enough to be 2 hours by train? Holy crap, baby!
I can't. Oh my. If it takes 2 hours by train, oh man.
Pearly, what about the train? Huh? What's a train?
I give up.
It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who's that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend.
Objection!
I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday.
Objection!
Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end.
Objection! Objection!
It was always back and forth with them. But when you're rivals for life...
Maya! Please don't mention that name ever again.
Huh? But why, Nick?
I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you didn't know. He's gone. And he's not coming back.
What? Wait! Wait a second! What's that supposed to mean?
The court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway.
Nick?
Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Maya, I'll tell you about Edgeworth after the bailiff waxes pee-pee. Are the prosecution and the defense prepared? What is with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me?
Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked because I am a woman, correct?
Well, hold on. So she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma?
I am Franziska von Karma, the prodigy.
I see.
I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge.
Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred von Karma? If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can— Ow!
I'm talking. If you interrupt again, my VIP will do the speaking for me.
Please speak with your mouth like a normal person. I beg of you. Yeah!
Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please.
Those of Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fey, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch.
Very well. What is the defense's position? Your Honor, does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty? Yes.
Foolish fool who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time.
Justified self-defense. A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. We could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense, but the defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone.
How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness.
She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose.
Witness, your name and occupation?
Yes, sir! My name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Ah!
Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder.
Yes, sir! If everyone would please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows, and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? That's quite a look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. And that's when they found that the victim was already dead, correct? I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I have ever presided over. Floor plans added to the court record. Diagram of the channeling chamber. So, how is the victim killed? I was about to get to that.
Stop wasting my time, then.
The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. Okay, Dr. Gray's autopsy report. After being stabbed in the chest, he was shot in the forehead at point blank. The court accepts it into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. I think you need to tell me more information, Gumshoe, my dear. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have...
Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start.
Fingerprints? There were fingerprints. Along with the victims, the defendant, Maya Faye's, were also on the grip, sir. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. The shot was fired from point-blank range. Point blank, huh? So, about how far away is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. And how do you know he was shot at point blank?
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Mr. Phoenix Wright. I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country.
Excuse me?
Gunpowder burn.
Gunpowder burn.
When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole.
Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow. Never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. And he was stabbed. Stabbed? And what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see. And whose knife was it? Was it yours, Mr. Wright? It looks like it belongs to the face, sir. And, of course, Maya Faye's fingerprints are all over it. All over it, huh? This does not look good.
What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. How severe was the wound? If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. This testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill. Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yup. Sure can be. One look at the wounds and you'd come to the same conclusion too, pal.
A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter, then, which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Pain. That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered. I brought the two murder weapons with me today. Very well, the court accepts them into evidence. Alright. Pistol, the murder weapon, was Gray's, 2 shots fired, bears Maya's and Gray's fingerprints. Knife, also the murder weapon, a small fruit knife, belongs to the Fays, bears Maya's fingerprints.
The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time.
And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them. Huh. This does seem like an open and shut case.
Naturally.
This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now was an oversimplifying things to the extreme.
Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there?
That is quite true, Mr. Wright. Yes? Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose.
See? Just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You've changed your plea in less than 10 minutes.
What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change to justified self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. I'd better think this through all the way. Nope, not guilty. Because Mia told me to. If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen. Your Honor, have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of complete acquittal.
Ow. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective!
Yes, sir.
Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike.
Yes, sir. Now, see here. Proceedings are run by... Eek! Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony.
Quit these nuts, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence.
Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. There certainly is evidence of a backspray of blood on this. This piece directly links Maya Fey to the crime, sir. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. Okay, Maya's costume. Clothes Maya was wearing at the time of the murder. There are blood splatters on it. Alright, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons, and blood splatters on her clothes. Could the situation get any worse?
Ha! What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Okay. This blood on the costume. The lab results show that it is the victim's blood. So there is blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence? Well...
If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad. Not enough time. Let's move on.
Yes, Ms. Von Karma is perfectly correct. Grr. Now even the judge is on her side. If I bite off more than I can chew here, what should I do? Further. Why is Ms. Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. There must be something about this costume. I just have to look harder. Mr. Wright, Ms. Von Karma's logic is perfect. There's no way for you to poke a hole in it. Ugh, looks like my time's up. So, about the costume. There is one little thing. Your Honor? Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence. What? What are you talking about, pal? There's the sexy woman. Where is this problem you're talking about? I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. There's a little hole in the sleeve about the size of a bullet hole. I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. The sleeve? Oh! There's a tiny hole here. A hole? But that wasn't in the report. Hold on! What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me! A hole that smells of gunpowder. Is he just sticking his face into the evidence? Looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole. This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else. Alright. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? It's okay, I took a screenshot too, I'll post it later. What else is she hiding?
Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That just now was a fluke. Nothing more.
Objection!
How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. While I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police, what Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then... No way! Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony. Yes, sir. Person who was without a doubt fighting back. Not fighting back. But there's a bullet hole, which means he shot at her.
Objection!
Detective Dick Gumshoe! Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police supposedly What is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? Yeah, what does it mean? What does any of it mean, pal? Why are we here? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? Ah! You're right! It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. Ha! What is with that, are you finished yet, Laugh?
Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Miss Von Karma?
It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea.
That is correct.
But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty.
Now that you... Why, that's right!
Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all.
No! Well, yes, that's true.
Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense.
Uh-huh. How so?
Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. This is the new information we acquired added in, of course.
Uh-huh? You mean... by myself? You want me to put together the scenario all by myself? Ah! Yes, sir. Right away, sir. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. This scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please.
Okay. How would he miss on account of being too close? That's just weird.
Objection!
Missing the tiny hole in this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. Eh? What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where's the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! But there's not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? This wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away.
Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking.
Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that?
Objection!
As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that.
Well, then... That's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There. That should satisfy even you.
That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. Something doesn't make sense. There's a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal? Flaw? Yow!
Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation.
There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts that line of thinking. In fact, there's another hole in the folding screen. This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. I'm destroying your logic with my own facts and logic. What is that? A folding screen? I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen.
Ah!
It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? Who what? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please! Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means... when the shot was fired, Maya, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. This changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. She was... like right here, probably? No, she would have... or was she over here? Like... yeah. Somewhere around here. Uh-oh. The judge's face is scrunched like he just smelled some serious bad breath. That is, wait! I just realized I forgot to brush this morning. Excuse me while I freshen up. Sure. In the meantime, I want you to think things through again, Mr. Wright. Oh shit, was I wrong? Of course. Oops. What's done is done. For now, I should focus on where Maya was at the time of the crime. She's not there either? She was standing here, near the folding screen. That's what I said the first time! Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Ms. Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder birds present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright! You... I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? I think it changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Oof. Alright. With this, the rest of the trial should be in the... Blast radius of disaster.
You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me.
Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile?
Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic?
Huh? How was it all my fault?
You can start repairing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured, your punishment will come later.
Punishment?
Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness.
Next witness? That's gotta be Lotta. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. Alright, here's the last leg of the case for today's stream. I know my German accent isn't perfect, but I'm having fun with it for Franny here. That was a close one.
I know you were giving it your all to defend me, but I could feel the death penalty hanging in the air.
It felt like I was pretty close to dying myself.
But you were wonderful out there. You listened carefully, made theories, and tricked everyone into believing you.
Thanks. Wait, tricked?
That must be the lawyer's secret technique, right? By the way, is the next witness who I think it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lotta Hart.
Oh, guess there's no escaping her, huh? Remember, Nick, you promised you'd save me. If you lose, me and my sis's ghost will come after you and haunt you. Your sister? Are you talking about Mystic Mia? Yeah. Do you remember her, Pearly? My sister was a super good lawyer. She was also Nick's teacher. Oh, I didn't know that.
Court will now reconvene. Now, the first order of... Ow!
I don't want to hear it, old man. After I call my witness, sit there quietly and watch, like a good little boy.
Yes, sir.
Bring in the photographer who witnessed the channeling. Witness, your name and occupation, if you please. Hey, Phoenix! How you doing?
Just fine. Sorry about this. Didn't exactly have a choice, you know?
Yeah, Yowza! Name and occupation. I declare. What in tarnation? Hey, Judge! This here is violence against my fair self.
That's fine.
That's fine? That ain't fine. That's a whip! Ah! There's no need for foolish outcries from foolishly foolish fools. Just hurry up and testify about what happened on the day of the murder. I haven't even gotten to say my name and job yet. The name's Lotta Hart, paranormal photographer, and I'm here to testify.
Now, let's all be one big happy family, okay? But Your Honor, she's just whipping everybody.
Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. We were waiting outside the door, and then bang! We hear this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down, and we rushed into the room. Inside was the dead victim and the defendant, waving the pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room.
And did you take a picture of the scene right after the murder took place?
Reckon course.
Excuse me?
Reckon course. It's short for, you reckon? Of course I did. Ah! Does it look like I care? Just hurry up and show your picture to the court.
The moment of truth. What will be in that picture?
Let's see here. This here's the picture.
It would certainly seem that only the defendant and the victim were in that room. Okay, Lotta's photo. A picture taken at the murder scene.
Are you ready, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
I will clear all doubt about Maya through this cross-examination. Just watch me. Only the doc and the defendant. Was it really only those two that went in?
What are you blabbering about? You were there too, were you not? Why don't you answer that yourself? Was it really just the two of them?
Yes. Dr. Gray and Maya were the only two that went into the room. Hold on! We can't have the defense testify against its own client. Anyway, folks, only the two of them went into the channeling chamber, you hear?
But you knew that from the very beginning, didn't you? Witness continue.
We were waiting outside the door. Heard a gunshot. Was it really a gunshot?
Are you insane? You must have heard it as well. Why don't you testify for the court, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Was it really a gunshot?
Yes, I think it was something that sounded like a gunshot. And why are we here listening to the defense testify? And the world becomes just a little crueler. I heard a gunshot a long time ago, so I know.
And I tell you, that was a gunshot I heard. And now this is where the story heats up.
Broke the door down. So, let me get this straight. This Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down?
Honestly, Mr. Phoenix Wright, why don't you just tell us what happened then?
Yes, Miss Von Karma. I broke the door down. Sorry. Why does this feel like an inquisition?
No need for apologizing. That was great! You're a real man.
Oh, really? That's something I would have liked to see. The judge is smiling rather openly. I'll take that as a good sign.
And? What did you see once you broke in?
Are you sure it was the defendant, Maya Fey?
Sure, I'm sure.
Lotta seems awful confident in her testimony. Lotta, Please, think back to that day one more time.
What you getting at?
Remember what you said when we broke into the room?
I was murdered.
Lotta, at a time like this?
Times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. But anyway, what's going on here? This gal, is she Maya?
When you saw the murderer at that time, you couldn't even tell if it was Maya Fey or not. Am I correct?
Well, you see...
Miss Hart, you are here to present accurate testimony.
Yeah, sorry.
Good. This shifts things back to my side.
For a defense lawyer, your defense is terribly lacking, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Witness, think back to when those two entered the channeling chamber.
When they entered?
One of those people that entered the chamber was Maya Fey, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Maya that went in. It looks like we've come to a collective conclusion. The person in this picture is most certainly Maya Fey.
Exactly.
Rats! And I'm trapped like one. Again! Are you absolutely certain of that?
Sure am. But that old witch chased us out of the room, so...
Old witch? Does she mean Morgan Fey?
But there was no one else in there, and you know it.
The channeling chamber was very dark. Almost pitch black. Was there really no one else in there? What about behind the folding screen? What about behind the folding screen? Did you check back there?
Rick Given?
Huh? What in the...
Rick Given, you know, you reckon? That's a given. I took me a good look around the room once. There ain't no way anyone was hanging out behind that folding screen.
If I may have a word with you, Miss Hart.
Well, what? You got a problem?
Rick Given, I mean, I am having a little difficulty in understanding you. If you would stop saying such things as reckon give...
Ah! Now then, Mr. Phoenix Wright, do you see a problem with the testimony, or don't you?
Just as I thought. There's nothing wrong with her testimony. I was with her, so I know she's telling the truth. Enough. It seems that there are no issues with Miss Hart's testimony.
At the time of the crime, only the two people were in the channeling chamber. The victim, Dr. Turner Gray, and the defendant, Maya Fey.
The face of the defendant cannot be verified in this picture. However, if we think about the circumstances, it would have to be the defendant. What am I going to do if I just let this go? What is it, Mr. Wright? You look as if you have something to say. If I make one wrong move, I'm going to have the judge against me. Is there anything I can present that would prove it's not Maya in that photo? Not that I have yet. Well, Mr. Wright. Nothing, Your Honor.
That's very smart of you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You really should give up trying to prove this is not Maya Fey.
I didn't say anything about giving up. I just don't have the right piece of evidence to prove my argument. That's enough. Is it? Is this all I could do? I think it is quite obvious to this court that a verdict of not guilty is not possible.
I told you. Totally 100% impossible.
Miss Von Karma, do you have any further questions for this witness?
Having established the defendant's guilt, further questioning won't be needed.
What about the defense? No further questions, I presume? I couldn't protect Maya. The defense is shitting its pants.
Phoenix, you can't make that kind of face. A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets.
Mia! Oh my god, Mia, your boobs! Put those away! Hang on a sec, like, put those away. No more boobs.
I guess I made it just in time, wouldn't you say?
No, Clip Studio, stop opening! I didn't want you to open! You! But... pearls!
Her clothes are a bit small.
That's an understatement of the fucking year.
Anyway, what are you waiting for, Phoenix? Let's go.
But how? She's already taken away every advantage.
The advantage is still in your hand. Think carefully one more time about what you saw in the channeling chamber. Do you remember what you told me yesterday?
Dr. Gray! Yeah. So do I not need it anymore?
I was murdered.
What? Lotta, at a time like this? Times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. Oh, goddammit. That's just the quickest thing I have on hand.
You see, there's one final piece to this puzzle.
Mia?
Question Lotta one more time, Phoenix. I don't know if she's doing it unconsciously or on purpose, but she's not testifying truthfully.
And now then, this court would like to end the cross-examination period. Okay, maybe I can take it off again. Please wait, Your Honor. The defense would like to request the witness testify one more time. Overruled. I'm afraid you're too late, Mr. Wright. The cross-examination has already ended. Furthermore, any...
It's fine. I'll allow another testimony. Von Karma's case is perfect. Absolutely flawless. And what better time than this for you to see that?
But I mean, I have some place I must go after this. Alright, I'll allow it. Miss Hart, hurry and give us another testimony.
Well, heck. What am I supposed to talk about?
Please tell us once more what happened when you burst into the channeling chamber.
Okay, you got it. God damn it. See, you got through the judge somehow, right?
Well, actually, it was Von Karma's whip that got through to him.
When we broke into that room, all I could focus on was Maya. I was, kinda scared of the dead body, so I didn't take a good look at it. I'm really bad when it comes to blood and ghosts and stuff. But I still managed to point my camera at Maya and take a shot.
Nothing sounds different from before. Some parts of her testimony were very vague. I should press her on those sections.
Chuckle all you like as you taste the bitterness of your defeat. Well, amuse me with your useless questions, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm waiting.
2, right? Two what? 2 shots. You took 2 shots. But only one has been submitted as evidence. Miss Hart, where's the other picture you've been withholding?
No, no, no! You've got it all wrong! It's not me. I didn't mean anything bad. I know it can be a little mean, but I ain't evil.
Well, at least she knows herself. Then why have you not shown this other picture to the court yet?
Well, ain't it obvious? That prosecutor woman told me to shut my trap about it.
What? Von Karma! Ms. Von Karma, you're hiding critical evidence. Unforgivable, Von Karma. Suppressing evidence like this. You're as bad as your father. Confront Francisco. Your Honor, the defense asks that Prosecutor Von Karma be held in contempt of court. Well, yes.
Me? In contempt of court? You can't be serious.
But you hid evidence from the court. On purpose. That's the freaking definition of contempt of court. That's not fair.
But, Phoenix, are you a lawyer or a school child?
I was so angry I lost my composure. Ms. Von Karma, would you care to explain yourself to this court?
I thought this picture was not important, and thus felt no need to submit it. That's all.
How could you think?
The pictures were more or less the same, so why bother with the second? I mean, it's just so much more trouble than it's worth for me to submit this as evidence.
More trouble than it's worth? How can you say that?
If you want to see it that badly, I'll submit it. Fine, whatever, I guess. It's not like I like you or anything.
What is that picture?
It's obviously the second picture the witness took that day at the scene of the crime. Well, it's a little off-center, but that's what you get with a nervous amateur.
I think the important point here is the person in this picture. This is most definitely not Maya Fey. What is the meaning of this? This might be the break I was looking for. Now, should I or should I not insist that the person in this picture is not Maya? It is absolutely not Maya. Your Honor, as you can plainly see, the person in the picture is not Maya Fey. Yes, I see that. It's not just her face, her whole body has taken on a different appearance. There's only one conclusion that can be drawn, then. That somehow this other person snuck in and traded places with the defendant. Well, yes, I believe you are correct, Mr. Wright. The person who was inside the channeling chamber was not Maya Fey. Mia, we did it!
You're too soft.
Huh?
You're softer than Aunt Morgan's strawberry desserts, Phoenix. Take a look at Prosecutor Von Karma's face.
Jeez, smiling?
I think you had better continue to worry, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Ms. Von Karma, what do you mean by that?
Your Honor, I would like for you to take a look at this picture. This was taken yesterday at the detention center's visitors' room. This is Mr. Phoenix Wright and the defendant, Maya Fey, during his visit.
Maya Fey? But isn't this a totally different person?
She looks this way because she is obviously in the middle of channeling a spirit.
It's unbelievable that she can...
Yet, it is the truth. When Maya Fey is in that state, she physically changes into the person she's calling.
Yeah, like, Mia, can we get you, like, a sweater to put on when you come to visit?
Ms. Von Karma, a word if I may.
Mia?
Taking pictures of someone during a private visit is illegal. Surely you must know that. Surely you must know that that picture can't be submitted as evidence. Obviously, I know this picture is illegal. But I never intended to submit it as evidence in the first place. What is she? From the moment I showed this picture to the court, this case became all mine. After all, this image has now been burned forever into the judge's mind.
I don't have even a single witty line.
It looks like we've been had.
I don't claim to understand this, and I still cannot believe it. Are you saying that this person is the defendant, Maya Fey? If I give up here, the trial will end. But if I slip up and say something wrong, it will cost me. Is there any way I can prove that the person in this picture is not Maya? I can! Your Honor? Oh! The fire has returned to your eyes, I see. This picture. Within this picture lies a critical contradiction to all the testimony up until now. A contradiction?
So, you think you've spotted a problem with this picture? Then earn your keep. Why don't you point out exactly what is so strange about this picture? Oh no, I didn't get to finish my sentence before it went off screen.
Take that!
Please direct your attention here. To the sleeve? But there isn't anything odd about it. And that is exactly what is so odd. Something that should be there is suddenly missing.
Should be there?
Aha! There was a bullet hole in the sleeve of the defendant's costume. If that's the case, then it should be in this picture as well. Miss Von Karma, you intended to hide this valuable piece of evidence? You will most certainly be assigned a penalty for this. Alright, this should do some major damage to her argument.
Don't celebrate yet.
You like to bring down the mood, don't you?
Take a look at Miss Von Karma's face.
She's got that condescending grin plaster all over her face again.
Tisk, tisk. Jumping the gun again, I see. Your Honor, I would like to extend an apology on behalf of those incompetent fools.
What do you mean? And what incompetent fools?
If those fools down at the precinct hadn't missed the bullet hole, I would have gotten a report about it. As I didn't, I could not have known that this picture was of any value to this case.
I see. She's lying through her teeth. I know it. That woman knew about everything. The bullet hole, the picture, everything.
But you can't prove that. Francisca Von Karma's idea of a perfect case is quite fascinating, don't you think? Your Honor, you need not worry. If you must assign a penalty, I'll personally make sure that detective gets what's coming. I'm sure there will be a great gnashing of teeth at his next salary discussion.
Poor Gumshoe. In any case, this is a very big problem. When the defendant was taken into custody, her costume had a bullet hole in its sleeve. However, from this photo, it would appear that right after the shooting, there was none.
The judge is confused by this strange twist of events. This is your chance, Phoenix. Load all you've got into this one shot, alright?
Got it. Watch this, Maya. Your Honor, there's only one logical explanation for the contradiction. The shooter is someone else. The defendant's sleeve had a bullet hole in it. However, this person's clearly does not. There can be only one explanation. The person who shot Dr. Gray was not the defendant, but a different person altogether.
What?
If order is not restored, I will suspend this trial. Ow!
Ah! Why me? The defense's argument is a complete mess.
A complete mess? I fail to see how. Please, enlighten us.
Hey, witness. Ah! What the heck? Talk about a what the heck moment. Let's get this thing viral. Is that any way to ask a gal for a favor? Be quiet, you. You was the one who said there was only 2 of them when you entered the room. Well, you know, if you were lying, I suspect that my whip will be the last thing you see. Look, sis, you're looking mighty scary, so why don't we say... What? I swear, I wasn't lying or nothing. There wasn't anyone else in there, honest. You see? Now riddle me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Where did the God damn it. Where did the defendant vanish to? And where did this other woman appear from?
Why is it lately? All I want to do is cry. Phoenix is having a shitty day. Well, if the person in this picture is not the defendant, then this poses 2 very big questions. First, where did the defendant vanish to? And second, where did this person come from?
That's right. Now hurry up and answer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Come on, you can't fall apart here, Phoenix Wright.
I can't believe that even me is calling you by my full name. But, I mean, how am I supposed to prove something like this?
Had enough yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Or do you think you have something... Or do you think you have enough in you to turn things around even now?
To turn things around. That's right. Mia would always turn things around and change her perspective.
Phoenix?
So, where did this intruder appear from? And where did Maya disappear to? I need to look at this situation from a different angle. Let's see. What if before we broke in, the 3rd person was already in the room? And what if Maya had left that room somehow? If I could prove that either of those conditions were true. Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've come up with. I think what happened before we forced our way into the channeling chamber is... Maya had left the room. Maya had left the channeling chamber at some point, and the defense can prove this.
Oh, how a foolish fool makes a foolish face while dreaming foolishly foolish dreams. Maya Fey was being looked after by her aunt, Morgan Fey. The chances of her leaving the crime scene is lower than that detective's salary.
Anyway, let's see some evidence. Prove that from the murder until the time of arrest, the defendant had left the room. That would be... the key. Miss Hart, do you remember this key?
Well, I've seen it. Hey! That's the channeling chamber key, right? Before the channeling started, Maya locked the door from the inside with that. The defendant herself locked the door? Yeah, that's why we all couldn't get the door open. That key's the only one of its kind, after all.
Oh, one of a kind, you say? Would you even go as far as to say that it was custom-made?
Wait, Mr. Phoenix Wright, that key was custom-made.
Yes? Looks like she's catching on to the fact that the key was custom-made.
I'm afraid to ask, but why is that key currently in your possession?
Huh? What do you mean? If Maya Fey locked herself in, then the key should have been with her. Yes, agreed. However, she did not have the key at the time of her arrest.
Ah! Well, ain't that a kick? So how come you're holding it?
I got this as a present from a certain little girl. And that little girl was nowhere near the crime scene at the time.
That's preposterous!
This means that Maya Fey must have left the room. If she had not, then I would not be holding this key you see before you.
No!
It seems we have come to an impasse. I'm sorry, I meant impasse. This picture has clearly captured the face of the murderer. However, is this person the defendant or not? The defense is arguing that this person is not the defendant. Furthermore, as proof, this key has been submitted as evidence. Ms. Von Karma.
How can this be?
At this point in time, a verdict on the defendant's guilt is not possible.
My perfect case! How is there a flaw in my perfect case? Don't think you've won yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I am a prodigy. I have never lost a case. And I don't intend to lose here in this courtroom to a fool like you. I don't care what I have to do. I will get my guilty verdict.
That's enough. If you would like to continue, do so in the lobby. Court will reconvene tomorrow at 10 a.m. That is all. The court is adjourned.
Wow! That was you, Pearly? You summoned my sis? Yes. I felt I had no choice. Great going, Pearly. I knew you were special. Hey, Nick, did you know?
Yeah, it's not like anyone else in there could have done that.
Nick, I know you're trying really hard and all, but I really don't remember ever leaving that room. And I don't think that a third person could have gone into that room.
Yeah. Well, at least we have until tomorrow to figure things out. Like, what happened in that room, for instance?
Yeah, I'm counting on you. I envy the two of you. Oh, by the way, Nick, do you think you could take Pearly back home for me?
Sure. Alright, Pearls. You ready to go buy some tickets?
Uh-huh. A ticket?
Poor thing. So sheltered. Alright, and that's where we end the story for tonight. Now, on Wednesday, I don't think I'm gonna be doing Ace Attorney. I'm gonna be playing, I don't know, something else. But like, I think I'm gonna try out for a couple weeks, just playing something else on Wednesdays to break up the Ace Attorney of it all. Like, I know we powered through Layton and all, but Ace Attorney does get a little bit samey. So I want to break it up. Like, I'll keep doing it like Mondays and Fridays, but I want to do something else on Wednesdays. I'm thinking about playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines on Wednesday, just because I've really been craving it. It's another favorite game of mine, and it's really goofy, but I don't know. I'll figure it out in the meantime. I appreciate you all coming to this and sticking with me for this slightly longer stream. Alright, hope everyone had a good time, and I hope you all have a good night. I will see you on Wednesday for something else. Alright, good night, everybody.